Hello, bonjour, hola, marhaban, and shalom. Cultural gap shouldn't be a reason not to give a relationship a chance. Is it really a red flag? Or should you completely ignore the difference between you and the one you like? Let's think together. You know, one of the things that I do when I think about a topic for a video is search the web. Duh. The idea is to find someone saying something that I completely disagree with, and for me it makes it a good subject that requires my attention, because I don't want you to follow bad advice. Same here, on multiple forums, YouTube channels, vlogs, whatever, the subject of cultural gap is raised quite often, and a lot of them suggest to avoid entering a relationship when a person that you like is from a different culture than your own. As someone who was lucky enough to date approximately 4 or 5 representatives of different cultures, I can assure you, if you follow that advice blindly, you're actually missing out a lot. Luckily for all of us, we live in an open world. Well, sort of. The globalization allows us to learn from people with completely different background, customs, and views on reality. This is an amazing gift and opportunity that this era we live in gives us. So don't waste this chance, and if a girl or a guy that you like comes from a different part of the world than you are, don't let it intimidate you and dive in. But when going for it, don't dive head first. Same way you wouldn't jump into water without first checking that there are no rocks that are gonna test your skull. Also, in this case, you should run a little research. I need to apologize in front of the female audience. I will be talking from male's perspective, just much easier for me, but it is relevant for you in the same way. This research should include at least the basics of the culture you're about to taste. First, what is expected and not expected in a romantic setup? For example, if you're about to date an European girl, most likely she will expect you to pick her up, whereas an American girl will expect to meet up at the destination of the date. Second, what is accepted and not accepted? For example, in some cultures it is accepted to make out on the first date, whereas in others you better not, because if the big brother finds out, consider yourself happily married or dead. Third, what are the cultural limitations to consider? If he or she eats halal or kosher only, you better know it, to make sure that the restaurant that you chose doesn't serve ham only. Otherwise, the sky will fall, God's rage will burn the place, and you shall go to hell. Relax, not really, but you may actually insult the one. 4. What are the cultural opportunities there are that may help you out? Every culture had its gems, some of them are hidden. And if out of the blue you raise up that gem in your behavior or a conversation, that would be a cool surprise. I don't know, check the pop culture, cool historical events, anything that makes that culture proud and excited. When making this research, enjoy it and dig as much as you can. One thing for sure, even if this doesn't work with the person that you want, hey, at least you got smarter. Now, it is very important. Obviously, you will not get a PhD on that culture. Plus, the differences depend on the person that you're about to date. This means you should remain open-minded and don't judge too fast. Let me tell you a personal story. When I was dating an American girl for the first time, she got me really pissed off. The reason was that it wasn't enough for her to make me angry faces each time was paying for both of us, because this is what I do, at least in the beginning. At one point, she waited until I went to pee and paid the entire bill. Not just her part, but mine as well. Now, you don't understand, but being born in an Eastern European culture, that was like a kick in these nuts. I cooled down and I asked her calmly, "Why did you do this to me?" But her answer blew me away. She said, "I don't need a man to pay my bills. I need a man with whom I can share thrills." So yeah, don't judge before you learn the origins of one's behavior. Nevertheless, cultural gap indeed can become a deal breaker if the gap is just too large, but you'll never find out if you're weak and you chicken out. So let's work together on shortening the cultural gaps between us all, making the world one big sweet home. One small step for man is a giant leap for the humanity. So let's start with you and me. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. This was VM. See ya.